After my daughter slapped me and took everything I owned, I discovered a secret about myself that changed 47 lives forever. What happened next will make you question everything you think you know about family loyalty. The slap echoed through the hospital waiting room like a gunshot. My vision blurred as my glasses hit the linoleum floor, cracking into pieces. 32 people stared in frozen silence as my daughter, Madison, stood over me with her hand still raised and her face twisted in rage. "You selfish old woman," she hissed. "Dad hasn't even been gone 3 months and you're already trying to control us with your money." My cheek burned, but not as much as my heart, because Madison had no idea about the money. None of them did. "My name is Eleanor Hartwell. I am 71 years old, and until that moment in the hospital waiting room, I thought I knew my family. I felt the modest life David and I had built. The simple 3-bedroom house, the 20-year-old sedan I drove, the couponing I did every Sunday was proof of our values. What my children didn't know was that their father and I were worth $14.7 million. Let me take you back 6 months before that slap, before David's diagnosis, before everything fell apart. Madison had always been ambitious. At 42, she built what looked like a successful real estate career, though I'd noticed the designer handbags that didn't match her modest commissions. Her husband, Trevor, drove a BMW he couldn't afford, and their twins attended a private school that cost more than my entire college education. Then came the visits. "Mom, this house is too big for you and Dad. Have you thought about downsizing? Trevor knows some wonderful retirement communities." Then, "Mom, I've been looking at your finances. You're being so irresponsible. Let me help you." And finally, "Mom, I think Dad needs to update as well. You should give me power of attorney just in case." Each request seemed reasonable on its own. It was only when I lined them all up that I saw the pattern. My daughter wasn't worried about our well-being. She was circling us like a vulture. The night before David died, when Madison and her brother Marcus thought I'd fallen asleep in the hospital chair, I heard them whispering in the hallway. "The house is worth maybe $320,000. After we sell it and split it, that's barely enough to clear my debts. If we can get Mom into a state facility, we won't have to waste money on private care. Every penny we save is a penny we keep." "What about Dad's life insurance?" $50,000 split 2 ways, it's nothing. But if we can prove Mom's mentally declining, we can get conservatorship. Then everything flows through us. I wanted to scream. These were the children I'd raised, the babies I'd nursed through fevers and nightmares. Instead, I sat holding David's hand as his breathing grew shallower, and I made a decision that would change everything. What my daughter and Marcus didn't know was that David and I weren't the simple working-class couple they assumed. David's grandfather had invented a component used in manufacturing machinery. When David inherited the patent rights at age 35, we made a choice. We could live like millionaires and spoil our children, or we could live simply, invest wisely, and raise children who understood the value of hard work. We chose the latter. David and I lived on David's modest salary as an accountant. The millions from patent royalties sat in accounts our children never knew existed. We planned to leave them a surprise inheritance, but only after teaching them values that mattered more than money. But as my children plotted to strip me of my dignity, I realized our plan had failed catastrophically. We hadn't raised humble, hard-working children. We'd raised entitled, greedy adults who saw their own mother as an obstacle to wealth they hadn't earned. Which brings us back to that moment in the waiting room, 3 months after David's funeral. I called a family meeting at the hospital where David had passed. Madison arrived with a lawyer, Mark Ismerg, a real estate agent. "Mom," Madison started, "we've been doing some research. The house needs to be sold, and we think it's best if you move into Sunny Meadows." Sunny Meadows is a state-run nursing home, the one with the news investigation about neglect. "It's perfectly adequate for your situation," Marcus interjected. "You have to be realistic about finances." That's when I reached my bag and pulled out a folder. A simple manila folder containing documents I'd kept hidden for 35 years. "Before we discuss where I'm going to live," I said, "I think you should see these." I spread them across the table. Bank statement showing $8.3 million, investment portfolios totaling $4.7 million, the deed to a commercial property generating $40,000 monthly in rent, and documented patent royalties. Madison's face went white, then red, then purple. "This is fake," she whispered. "This can't be real." "It's real," I confirmed. "Your father and I were never poor, Madison. We chose to live modestly to raise children who valued character over cash. We failed." That's when she slapped me. "You lying bitch. You let us struggle while you're sitting on millions. What kind of mother does that?" The kind who hoped her children would develop integrity. But I can see now that ship has sailed. The next part wasn't easy. The lawyers, the family members taking sides, the accusations, the grandchildren I wasn't allowed to see because I emotionally abused my children by not giving them money that was never theirs. But what I did instead, I took that $14.7 million and started the Hardwell Foundation for Elder Dignity. We provide free legal services to seniors being financially abused by their families. We fund investigations into predatory guardianship schemes. We've helped 47 elderly people in 2 years regain control of their lives from family members who saw them as ATMs instead of human beings. Madison and Marcus each received $50,000 from David's estate, exactly what they thought was there. They've both tried to sue for more. They both lost. I won't see my grandchildren until they're 18 and can make their own choices. And every night I sleep peacefully in my modest house, driving my old sedan, clipping coupons on Sunday because I've learned that the life you choose is worth more than any inheritance you leave behind. My daughter slapped me in front of 32 witnesses the day she discovered I'd been rich all along. She thought she was slapping a liar, which she actually struck with the last threat that connected her to a fortune she'll never see. And honestly, I've never felt richer in my life. Sometimes the people closest to us reveal their true colors when they think we have nothing left to give. But real wealth isn't measured in bank account. It's measured in dignity, in boundaries, and in the courage to walk away from those who only see you as a means to an end. If this story tests your heart, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below, telling me where you're watching from and whether you've ever experienced betrayal from someone you trusted completely. Your stories matter. If you believe in the strength of survivors who chose dignity over toxic family ties, hit that like button. And please subscribe to this channel for more powerful real-life stories about courage and justice. I'll see you in the next story. And remember, you are never too old to reclaim your power.